What's up everyone, this is MrKingLiam, and today you join me for another one of my Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles. And today I'm bringing to you a update for one of my favorite deck profiles. This is the Ancient Gear deck profile. Now for anyone that's been subscribed to my channel since I believe it was April, you would have known that I did a Ancient Gear deck profile earlier in the year. But since then, I've made a couple of changes, done some testing around, changed a couple of the cards, and also taken some fan feedback that was left actually in the previous video. So thank you for that. So yes, I've done some testing, and this is what I've come up with. So first off, we have 3 Ancient Geared Reactor Dragon. Now, if this card is tribute summoned by tributing a Ancient Gear monster, if it attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict battle damage to your opponent. If this is tribute summoned by tributing a Gadget, then it can make a second attack during each battle phase. If this card attacks your opponent's spell/traps on the field cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. And also, at the end of the damage step, if this card attacks, you can destroy one spell/trap on the field. So overall, it's a good way to cause a good amount of damage. If you tribute a Gadget, monster, then you can make a second attack. If you tribute an Ancient Gear, you can get piercing damage, and also at the end you can destroy a set spell/trap. Oh wait, no, so it's not spell. So it's not set. Oh, it's just one spell/trap. So it could be either yours or your opponent's. So you can do some silly combos with this. Next up, I'm running 1 Ancient Gear Golem. Now the reason I'm running 1 is because pretty much all of the test tools I've done, I have actually not brought out this card, and that is not a lie. I pretty much don't use this at all. But the main reason is because of trading. So it's just nice to have a another trading target. So cannot be special summoned. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent, and it's excuse me, sorry. And also, like with Reactor Dragon, your opponent cannot activate spell/traps until the end. Next up, we have pretty much the main Ancient Gear I end up going for on this deck. Ancient Gear Gadget Dragon. I think that's the right pronunciation. Now, I will admit most of the fact is a little bit irrelevant because I pretty much never tribute this card. I always bring out using some of the combos, which I will explain later on. But yeah, 3000 is an 8-star, so it's one of the key monsters I usually go for. And yeah, it's probably one of the main cards, but I'll explain that in a bit. Next up, we have the Searcher of the deck, 3 Ancient Gear Wyvern. So if this is normal special summon, you can add 1 Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand, except another Wyvern. Also, you cannot set cards for the rest of this turn. That's the only downside with Wyvern, unfortunately. So that means like you can't set monsters or so you can't basically set the card that you gain from this effect. That's the only downside. If this card attacks, your opponent's monster can't activate their effects until the end of the damage step. So yeah, so this is the Searcher of the deck, so it helps you get out some of your combos later on. Next up, we have Ancient. Now we get to the gadgets. I'm just going to move that up here. So first off, we have Ancient Gear Gadget. This is the newest one from the Structure deck that came out in April. If this card is normal or special summon, you can declare 1 card type monster spell trap this turn. If a monster you control attacks, your opponent's spell cards, trap cards, or monster effect, whichever was declared, cannot be activated until the end of the damage step. So that's quite a handy effect. So you can actually, so it's a little bit like a number 16. There we go. So it's a little bit similar to number 16's effect, where you can actually declare a type and you can cancel it out until the end of the damage step, which can be quite handy. Once per turn, you can declare 1 Gadget monster's card name until the end phase. This card's name becomes that name. So like you can make it red, green, or yellow. So it could also come in handy with the Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon or Reactor Dragon. So it can come in handy for those. And finally, just to round things off, I'm running 2 of gold and 2 of silver. Now these, I mainly use these as rank 4 options, along with Wyvern and Gadget. Gold and silver is a good way to get a rank 4 to the field quickly. So yeah, so it does come in handy. Also, when they're destroyed, they can bring out one of each other as long as there's another one in the deck. So there's the monsters. Now for the spells, we're running 1 Raigeki, 3 trading because we do have quite a few targets, 2 terraforming, an upstart goblin, Ancient Gear Catapult. Now this is originally I was actually running 3 of this card, but I've put it down to 2 for 2 reasons. Firstly, most of the time actually I usually do have a Ancient Gear monster on the field, so it was a little bit of a dead draw. And the second thing is that when Catapult is activated, when it's in the graveyard, you can actually activate its effect again to special summon an Ancient Gear token, so that can destroy an Ancient Gear card. So that can come in handy. So the first one, you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster, and the second one you can use it to destroy a card to bring out token. Next up, we have 2 Twin Twisters. This is pretty much a staple in most decks. 1 limited removal as a tech card, so like if I need more firepower. 2 of Ancient Gear Fortress. Now this is the replacement for Ancient Gear Castle. That was quite a bit of an older card. So this card says during the turn they were this is referring to Ancient Gears. During the turn they were normal special summon. Your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So it's a good way to protect some of your monsters as well. Also, but the main thing I use this card for is if this card is destroyed in the spell and trap zone, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your hand or graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Ancient Gear monsters. So that means you can effectively use Twin Twisters or Ancient Gear Catapults to destroy Fortress, and then you can special summon a monster using this card. The only downside is you do have to wait a turn to extra summon, but you might be able to get 2 of the dragons out, so that might be quite useful. And finally, we have 2 of Geartan, which is you pretty much have to run 3 of these to be honest, because it's one of the best cards in the deck. So both players can normal summon Ancient Gear monsters for 1 less tribute. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So once again, you can combo this with Twin Twisters or Ancient Gear Catapult, or even Reactor Dragon, and then when it's destroyed, you can special summon an Ancient Gear from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So it's definitely a good combo. Also, it can actually help with the 2 dragons to get a Gadget summon as well, because if you change Ancient Gear Gadget to Red Gadget, use Geartan, then you can normal summon. This card. I'm not gonna keep murdering its name just to say. So then you can keep saying its name. Wait, sorry, I just say keep saying its name. Oh, I'm going all over the place. So basically, yeah, you can use that to normal summon that and gain its gadget effect. And also, we're running 2 Dark Hole. I'm not sure why they're there, just to say. There we go. So 2 Dark Hole as well. For the trap lineup, we have 1 Bottomless, 2 Dimensional Prison, 1 Compulse, 2 Call the Haunted, 2 Ancient Gear Reborn. Now, this is a card I wasn't playing at all, along with Gadget. This card was actually recommended to me in the previous Ancient Gear video. I've been testing this out, and might I say it is a very good card for Ancient Gears. So its effect is, once per turn, if you control no monsters, you can target one Ancient Gear monster in your graveyard, supposed to summon it, and if you do, it gains 200 attack. Even if this card leaves the field, you can only control one Ancient Gear Reborn. So yes, this is a very good card. So you can bring back, most of the time I use it to bring back the Dragon, and sometimes I could use it with Call the Haunted, and some of the combos as well. So yes, it is a very good card for Ancient Gears. Personally, I definitely would recommend using this in the deck. The only thing is, its last effect, you can only control one Ancient Gear Reborn. Most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time I never need 3, so I'd probably say if you're going to run this, run 2. I'd say 3 might be too much, might be a dead draw. So then we have Solemn Strike and 1 Solemn Warning. And now for our extra deck. First off, we're running 2 ranked 9s. We're running number 95 and Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon. For our rank 8, we're running number 62, number 38, Galaxy Eyes Safe Dragon, and number 107. So that's why I'm running these two, because we do have quite a few Galaxy Eyes targets. For our rank 4s, we have Dark Rebellion Exceeds Dragon. I pretty much run this and everything now. Gigant X, that's another one of the searchers for machines. Heavy Armor Train Iron Wolf. Now this is a newer card that was introduced in Raging Tempest. So you can detach 1 Exceed material from this card and target 1 machine monster you control. This card can attack your opponent directly. So this could be this card itself, similar to number 82, except it doesn't need a field spell. Also, other monsters cannot attack. That's the only downside about this card. If this card in your possession is destroyed by opponent's card effect, if your opponent, getting all my words wrong. If this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, by battle or by card effect, and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 level 4 machine type monster from your deck to your hand. So it can be used to bring out one of your gadgets or the Wyvern. So it's quite handy. Then we have, wait a minute, Diamond Direwolf. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so I'm not sure why Diamond Direwolf is in there. My apologies. I have no idea. Oh, we're putting the Go-Go Cowboy instead. So Go-Go Cowboy. Bit of a late switch. Castell, the Sky Musketeer. Now, you may notice that on the right side, I am actually using Link monsters. Most of the time, I actually don't end up going for these. Although, unfortunately, at the moment, for some reason, YGO Pro, which is actually the system I'm running. I've never mentioned that before. I'm now using YGO Pro 2 because DevPro kept malfunctioning when I tried to install it, no matter how many times I tried to get around it. And some of the other games don't have the link summoning field yet, so that means I can't do accurate testing. But unfortunately, YGO Pro doesn't allow me to select where I can put monsters. So far, I haven't actually been able to test out the 4 link monsters I have. But the 4 ones I'm running at the moment is Tombol Logic Bomber Dragon, which is actually the card I pulled from Code of the Duelist. Firewall Dragon, Guy Saber, the Video Knight, and finally a Decode Talker. So these are the 4 link monsters I'm using at the moment. But hopefully they'll introduce an update in YGO Pro 2 where you can actually select where your monsters go. So that means you can actually use link summoning. So there was my Ancient Gear deck profile for September of 2017. Now when this goes out, I'm not sure if there'll be a new ban list or not yet, but if there is, I will do an update soon after this goes out. Just before I end though, I do have a couple of tech cards. So these are some of the other stuff that I was looking at. I was thinking about running another terraforming, but most of the time I didn't actually need it because I had Wyvern to search it out. Another gold and silver gadget. These could add a little bit more recycling power. What I mean by that is like protection cards, like if they're destroyed. Or just another way to get out rank 4s. The other card I was recommended was Ancient Gear Box. I did look at this, but I thought it might be a bit slow. I have to admit. Yes, it could be useful to get a gadget, but most of the time I didn't actually use that. And the other card I used was Anti-Gear Tank. Now, this did come in handy with Reactor Dragon once when I equipped it to that. Used the Reactor Dragon's effect, destroyed it, and then caused 600 points of damage. But yes, I'd say this is the deck profile I am happy using. So there was an Ancient Gear deck profile update. If you enjoyed this deck profile, then please make sure to like this video, and also be free to check out some of my previous deck profiles as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel to know when my newest content is coming out, and also be free to check out my Twitter and Patreon accounts as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and for now, this is MrKingLiam signing out.